try to connect from your soul to their soul. And people were telling me how accurate I was on the information I was giving them. And I never done this before. And I said, holy crap. I said, I can't believe this exists. And so I went home after that seminar, and I was like so excited. And I bought myself a deck of spiritual cards, and I was reading for friends and family for the next few years, just for the fun of it. And again, people were telling me how accurate I was. And then I got to a point where I needed some really fast cash extra money. I really needed it. I wasn't struggling, but I needed some fast extra cash because I needed to pay back some loans. So I'm sitting there on my couch and I'm thinking to myself, what can I do to earn some extra money? And I'm thinking, and I'm a go-getter. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden I said, you know what? I know how to do readings. So I threw an ad in the paper, and the message said, if I don't pull through, no charge. And then people were calling me up, and 90% of the people paid me, and then it just took on a life of its own. And now it's 31 years later, 30,000 people later that I've read for, and and it just keeps going and going. It just, and now I make a living out of healing people emotionally, physically, spiritually, and I'll tell you, I've been very blessed.
Wow.
Do you get stronger as a psychic the more you practice?
Yeah, with anything in life, no matter what you do, you get stronger and better at whatever it is you do. You could be a teacher, an electrician, a basketball player, whatever you're doing. However, if you take what you're doing for granted, you could also lose your gift. You could lose your ability if you're being taken for granted.
Okay.
Now, there are times where, and I'm always very appreciative of it, especially when I hear constant stories, when people are telling me what a difference the message that I gave them made, changed their whole life. Or what I pride myself more than anything else is that I give people back their power, and I give them healing. So when somebody loses a loved one, I give them healing to let them know that they're okay, and I give them specifics of whatever. And every reading is different. Now I give people back their power because I help them rewire their way of thinking about themselves or about life itself. So they're looking at things in one way, seeing themselves as a victim, and then I give them answers so that they don't have to see themselves as a victim. I see how they could be put in a power position, whether it be with yourself, your friends, your relationship, your job. So when you have knowledge about the overall circumstances, that gives you power. And now you know what to do because you know what's going on behind the scenes with the other person or the overall situation. So I help change people's lives around. I don't always just tell people future events. I've done that, thousands and thousands of times, telling people future events. But I also, what I do is, because I'm also a life coach, I also will, tell people how to relook at something. Mm-hmm. It's not always the problem that's the problem. It's how you're looking at it.
Yeah, everything is great from a point of view. I definitely say, like, I truly like to believe that I'm very open-minded to things, but at sometimes I can be a bit of a naysayer. And I remember there used to be a mall in Kingston where I live, or I lived at the time, and every year a psychic fair would come to the mall. And I used to stand there thinking, well, there's a lot of psychics in one area. And I stood kind of outside the booth thinking, now if I just start thinking some really weird thoughts and I just see one head poke up and look at me, then I will totally be on board. but nobody ever did.
You know what, man? It's funny. I'm the same. Like, I'm super analytical. And for me, like, seeing is believing, I guess. And which is weird because it's not how I was raised. Like, my mom actually she would see a psychic here in Ontario, actually, amazingly hard to get into, apparently. She saw him a couple times, and she was amazed, and she would tell us stories, and I guess she got some of the stuff on tape, but she would never let us listen to it, because she said that some of it involved us, and she didn't want us to deviate
didn't want to alter your thoughts or your mind.
Yeah.
Didn't want to affect the things. Yeah.
So you know what? I grew up being very open-minded, but being analytical, I guess, as you get older and more cynical, and you're always like, oh, science, it's got to be, everything's got to be proven. But there's always been a piece of me that's like, I think about those tapes and my mom going and the things that she told us, these little bits and pieces that were accurate, and it's really intriguing to me. It's funny, I fight the analytical piece of myself because I really want to understand more about it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Do you live with family right now, Matty?
Yeah, I do. So I live with my wife.
I saw you living with family. That's why I didn't see you living on your own. And I don't know what you look like or how old you are. And you're also going to be one person that when you have your own place, you're going to have lots of pets.
It's funny that you say that.
Yeah.
Yes, we have two dogs, golden retriever and a Australian Shepherd. So Link and Zelda. So yep, we've had our fair share of pets, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're very important to you because they're filled with unconditional love. And so when you're upset or disappointed or whatever, if you want to get lost in something, people, go, for me, I go by the water. Other people will read a book. And for you, you like to just be with your dogs and stuff, and they will give you that comfort, that instant comfort that you're looking for.
That's good. That's good advice, because it's absolutely true. I find myself when I'm just not, I don't know, if people just have bad days, and I find myself curling up on the couch with my pooches.
Yeah, and also when you have a house or when you get a house, I don't know if it's where you're living now or the house where you're going to be living or stuff. There's going to be a cherry tree. There's something with cherries that's connected with where you're going to be living. It could also be the name of the street, Cherry Lane, Cherry Hill. But there's something with cherries that's connected with the place where you're going to be living.
Cool.
Interesting.
All right.
So that's a psychic prediction in regards to the future. And I told you right now, as far as that, I saw you living with family and I saw you living with pets. So I gave you something for the moment now, and I'm telling you something about the future. But there's something definitely about with cherries with you, and also there's going to be a problem with one of the cabinets. I don't know if it's within your. It looks like it's within your kitchen. It could also be like. It could be also like in the laundry room or something. But I'm seeing an issue with one of the doors of the cabinets or something.
Okay. Very cool.
And it's not that I wish anything bad upon you or whatever. So it's just something that I was just picking up. So.
Man, please tell me that Ashley wants you to repaint the cupboards.
Yeah, but it could be because I'm seeing an issue. It's like because I see you jockeying with the with the door or something. It's jamming, or you're gonna have to take it off or something. But there's something. But I'm seeing something going on with one of the doors, and you'll think of me when it happens.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So let me see if I could pick up something with Anthony and all. So I'm just like, shuffling the cards right now.
Sure. I like the potential of being a millionaire, but it's okay if I make that happen, but as long as it's coming.
You're definitely a people person by far, Anthony. You're definitely a people person, and you do like your women. No doubt about it. He loves his women.
Hope Kelly doesn't hear this. No.
Either you're owning your own business or you're going to end up being the manager of wherever you're working.
Okay.
I don't see you just, being a regular worker and being satisfied with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kind of, yeah.
And as a matter of fact, you're not one, like if your boss tells you something, if there's somebody in authority telling you something, you don't agree with it, you won't go along with the program if it's not sitting right with you. You're going to challenge them, and you're going to still try to do things your way.
It has been known to happen, yes.
I was going to say, I've known Tony for a long time, and that's pretty dead on.
Yeah.
No, yeah, usually when he has his mind set on something, he's the type of guy that when I know I'm right, you're not going to persuade me. It's like he's stubborn in that way. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. When I believe in something, you're not going to persuade me. When I feel like something's right or whatnot, and it's like you're not going to change my mind. You could think whatever you want of me. I don't give a shit, but this is the way it is, and I don't care. And you don't need to be a jerk about things. You don't need to be but again, you're one that you stand true to your convictions, and if it means to do the right thing, even if other people don't agree with it, like there's a lot of people following protocol. It's like, you know what? If I don't believe in the protocol, I ain't doing it. I don't give a shit. Protocol my ass. I don't care about political correctness or whatnot. I'm going to do what feels right in my heart. And that's just the way I am. I'm not going out to hurt anybody, but you know what? I don't believe in just being stupid. It's like certain rules are just stupid, and I'm having a hard time following it, and I'm not doing it just to do it because I don't believe in it. So if you don't believe in something, you're not going to follow the rule of whatever it is.
It's funny actually. My wife would say that I'm a little bit one of those in the box players, but at the same time, it's true. I don't if I feel like it's wrong, and it doesn't bode well with my heart, then I don't do it, and it's definitely true.
But put it this way, you're going to be more successful when you think outside the box. It's as simple as that. You need to think and live outside the box for you to. You need to take more chances and pull the trigger rather than just overanalyze everything.
Okay, that is good advice.
You can't be afraid. You have to understand you also gain through wisdom and knowledge by even making wrong moves. You're so afraid to make a wrong move that it's like, no, and you overanalyze it, and then it's like, yeah, so. But if you believe, but you gotta, like I said, it's an education, whether it costs you time or money. It's an education. Like I said, if you want to become the kind of successful that you want, you can't if you want to become, really make it big, say you wanted to gamble, whatever, and you wanted to win thousands of dollars, you got to bring more than $10 with you. So. You gotta risk a little to gain a little, and it's all a part of life. But if you're gonna play life conservatively, you're always just gonna be living within your fantasy and in your dreams rather than reality. But the fun of life is taking chances outside the norm. And Dr. Seuss said, we all know who Dr. Seuss is.
Indeed.
Yeah, Dr. Seuss said, to be outstanding, you need to stand out.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. It's actually really funny. When I went to college, there was a lot of Dr. Seuss sayings on the walls that were trying to influence and inspire the students there.
It's interesting how I'm talking about Dr. Seuss, and that happens to be, like, I don't mention that all the time. It's a rarity, actually, So, yeah, but you gotta start walking your talk more if you want to be the kind of big that you want, rather than just allowing yourself just to be content.
Okay.
You think bigger than where you are, but your actions stay keeping you content.
That is fair. That's very good. Yes, it's true. I got a lot of larger ideas, but it's there is always some apprehension and things that probably end up keeping me back. And I came from a family where they played things very, very safe. And you would only kind of do things if it was a sure thing, as opposed to taking that gamble. And I think there's a lot of the times where my wife is just like, yeah, you really need to take that chance if that's what you want to do.
You know what? A lot of people get angry or get upset with other people because you're willing to take a chance that they're not willing to take. So they call you silly, foolish,